12 anime swordsmen who would give ZORO a tough fight. ZORO is an incredible swordsman, so much so that very few characters in One Piece pose a real challenge to him. However, there are some who could, and they hail from various other universes. For us avid anime fans, we know there's no shortage of legendary swordsmen out there. So let me introduce you to the swordsman, who would truly test ZORO's skills and might even defeat him. Friends, ZORO is undoubtedly one of the greatest swordsmen in anime history, but even with such an impressive title, he would face formidable challenges from others on this list, including one from his own universe. There are swordsmen with superior powers, incredible speed, refined techniques, absurd endurance, and some with ridiculously overpowered abilities that would drastically reduce ZORO's chances of victory. And of course, here's the one who stands as the swordsman of swordsmen. Ichigo Bleach. Ichigo would give ZORO a hard time. Not only is he skilled with a sword, but he also has transformations and spiritual abilities that put him on another level. His sword, which is also spiritual, has unique properties that would be a major obstacle. Even with ZORO's three-sword technique, overcoming all these advantages would be a challenge. However, if the fight were purely swordsmanship, without any powers or spiritual tricks, ZORO would have a better chance to showcase his technical superiority. Hyakimaru Dororo. Although Hyakimaru is not a traditional swordsman, he would present a unique challenge for ZORO. His spiritual prosthetics, which replace parts of his body, grant him supernatural abilities that would make the combat very interesting. However, even with all his powers, Hyakimaru would not be a match for ZORO. In the end, ZORO's technical mastery would surpass Hyakimaru's supernatural abilities, though the fight would be well balanced. Akame ga Kill. If you think ZORO is fast, then you haven't encountered Akame. Her speed is absurdly ridiculous, so much so that even someone with the ability to stop time would struggle to perceive her movements. She's that fast. While ZORO would still have the edge in brute strength and swordsmanship, he would have to be extremely cautious to avoid being eviscerated by Akame, who could do so in the blink of an eye. This battle would test ZORO's reflexes and adaptability like no other. Zenitsu, Demon Slayer. Zenitsu might seem like an underdog compared to ZORO, and in many ways he would be at a clear disadvantage. However, ZORO has a tendency to be overly confident, often underestimating opponents he deems weaker. This could be the key to Zenitsu's victory. Imagine ZORO facing someone who only becomes a threat when asleep. His confidence would skyrocket. Then, in his slumbering state, Zenitsu could unleash his thunder-breathing technique. While ZORO might deflect the strike and realize Zenitsu's resilience, there's also a chance he'd take a hit without fully grasping the attack's power. Under these circumstances, it would be a balanced fight. But in any other scenario, ZORO would dominate. Afro Samurai. Friends, this would be a battle that would stop the world of swordsmen. Everyone would gather to witness such a confrontation, and there are many reasons for that. First, Afro Samurai possesses the #1 headband, which indicates that he is the best swordsman in his universe. Second, ZORO is at the very least among the top 3 swordsmen in his own universe. It would be a purely sword-based fight, with no magic, supernatural, or spiritual powers. At least not at first, because Afro's #1 headband gives him a significant advantage: resurrection. This ability activates when the user is near defeat, dramatically increasing their physical and combat abilities. This could be decisive to surprise ZORO and win the fight, but Afro wouldn't be able to use this ability right at the start. Otherwise, ZORO wouldn't even be tired and would likely defeat Afro quickly. However, if it was after hours of combat, ZORO would be in serious trouble, and a fight between the two would undoubtedly last hours, so Afro has a real chance of emerging victorious in this scenario. Estarossa, the 7 deadly sins. If in the last fight there were no powers or supernatural abilities, here in the first line there's everything and much more. Friends, Estarossa has a vast array of powers that would make the fight extremely disadvantageous for ZORO. But 2 of Estarossa's abilities would be too powerful, and ZORO would hardly have any chance against them. The first is that no one with hatred in their heart can attack Estarossa, which would already give him a great advantage. The second, and the most powerful of all, is full counter. With this, Estarossa would be able to reflect any physical attack with double the original force. So if Zoro attempted a final desperate blow, he would be defeated by the doubled force of his own attack. Here, Zoro's chances are minimal, but the chances for an incredible and unforgettable fight are extremely high. Ryuko, Kill la Kill. What are Zoro's greatest advantages as a swordsman? His speed, strength, and the fact that he uses 3 swords. But all these advantages would not be 100% effective in a fight against Ryuko. Ryuko can perceive enemies attacking at light speed, something Zoro wouldn't even come close to matching. Furthermore, Ryuko has incredible physical resistance and durability due to her life fiber hybrid, and she can recover from any damage as long as her limb is not completely severed. So Zoro would have to make many cuts to defeat Ryuko. But that would not be easy, as Ryuko is also a highly skilled swordswoman and would complicate things, especially since she regenerates any damage Zoro causes. Kenpachi Zaraki, Bleach. Friends, Kenpachi Zaraki was so powerful that he deliberately weakened himself using an eye patch just to make the battles last longer. This type is the Saitama of swordsmen. However, he would present a worthy challenge for Zoro, and it's possible that Kenpachi would have to remove the eye patch to use 100% of his abilities in order to defeat Zoro. Or perhaps even with the eye patch and the craters he could create with his Zanpakuto, it would be more than enough. Well, we'd have to make them fight to find out, but I believe Kenpachi would need to take off the eye patch, even if it was just a little bit. So, with 100% or close to it, Kenpachi would undoubtedly be able to defeat Zoro. Mihawk, One Piece. Zoro is undoubtedly one of the greatest swordsmen, but within the One Piece universe, there is someone who is greater and stronger than him, Mihawk. Friends, Mihawk was and is superior to Zoro in every aspect, physically, mentally, strategically, and in the art of swordsmanship. Moreover, he only used one sword, while many of the techniques and moves Zoro knows were taught to him by Mihawk. Therefore, in a fight between the two, Mihawk would know how to handle any movement or attack from Zoro, but it's undeniable that this fight would be incredible. Their training together was intense. Imagine the confrontation to determine who is the best and greatest swordsman in One Piece. Wow, this would be an amazing battle. Kenshin Himura, Samurai X. No use crying, rebelling, or shouting. The greatest of all will always be Kenshin Himura. Friends, perhaps he doesn't have the most extraordinary powers, perhaps he doesn't possess the most powerful sword in the universe, and perhaps he's no longer the type to kill. But his sword technique, precision, and swift movements make him one of the best in his field, if not the best. Saito Hajime, Rurouni Kenshin. Saito Hajime is one of the most iconic swordsmen from Rurouni Kenshin, known for his unbeatable sword skills and his heightened Mitsurugi Ryu technique in the Amakakeru Ryu no Hirameki style. He is extremely fast and efficient in combat, and his brutal, pragmatic approach makes him an imposing adversary. His technique is of surgical precision, and his combat style is based on the idea of attacking quickly and mercilessly. Against Zoro, Saito would present a formidable challenge, especially because he is extremely calculative and knows several techniques that would nullify Zoro's brute style. However, Zoro has the advantage of his training with Mihawk and his 3-sword technique, which would give him a chance. The fight would be intense and strategic, with Saito possibly using his tactical intelligence to try to outpace Zoro in terms of speed and precision. Mugen, Samurai Champloo. Mugen is a swordsman with a completely unpredictable style, based on instinctive and acrobatic movements. His fight against Zoro would be fascinating because of the style difference. While Zoro is an extremely technical and disciplined swordsman, Mugen relies on agility, raw strength, and unexpected strategies. Mugen, although not the most technical swordsman, makes up for it with his eccentric behavior and his ability to fight in an entirely unpredictable way. Against Zoro, he would probably not follow a conventional fighting style, which could confuse Zoro and make him vulnerable. However, Zoro has more experience in decisive battles and adapts quickly, which would likely give him an advantage in direct physical combat. This fight would be full of surprises, and depending on the circumstances, either one of them could emerge victorious. These swordsmen are just some of the many who could challenge ZORO. Each one brings a unique combination of abilities and powers that could pose an insurmountable obstacle for the One Piece swordsman. While ZORO is one of the greatest, fighting these opponents would require more than just brute strength. He would need to use all his intelligence and strategy to have a chance of winning. Ultimately, the hardest battles would be against those who, in addition to swordsmanship, possess supernatural powers or unique advantages. If you made it this far, subscribe and be part of this journey. Your subscription is what keeps all of this alive, and together we will take this channel to the next level.